At long last, I'm finally bringing you the 3D flower bloom resin tutorial in our Colossal Crystal Edge Vanity tray mold. As you can see right there, this baby's deep and thick and heavy and will guarantee to give you some beautiful end pieces. I started off mixing up 5 ounces of JDiction high gloss resin using 16 drops of Onyx resin ink and Hyper Holo Silver Glitter 1.5 little scoops. As you can see, it's kind of a bluish black. I didn't want it too opaque looking because I wanted the crystals to sparkle. And I'm showing some little pipettes there. I found that with these molds, this colossal tray mold and also our colossal round mold, it's best to fill the outside crystal areas first because they're deeper than the front of the piece where the design will go. And here I was being very brave pouring it with a cup, and I just don't trust myself, so I started filling up the little pipettes. I cut off the ends of them and just alternate between the two, filling it up. I'll start slow here and then speed ramp it up a little bit. But the pipettes let you get into the little crystal shard areas and make sure they all get filled with resin. But I was saying I did want this not too opaque looking, a little bit transparent so the glitter would show and that light would show through it, because I found that's better than just having solid opaque color in the crystal areas. And it is a black, Onyx is black, but it does have a bluish black hue to it, so it's not a solid black. I'm just tripping over my words. Okay, now I sped it up a little bit. If you feel confident, you can always pour the edges with a cup, but I just did that with the pipette. Then, when I was ready, after that had set up the next day, I found the crystals were a little low, so I'd mixed up 4 ounces of resin and I put about 2 ounces in there to kind of raise the crystals back up to the level of the surface right there where I'm going to do my bloom. And for the bloom part, I used JDiction high viscosity resin. I found this works perfectly for all my blooms. And there I'm just testing it to make sure I have it deep enough. I made up 11 ounces and I guess I did use all of it. I take notes and then I don't go back. It was between 9 and 11 ounces. I think I didn't trust 9, so I went with 11 and I might have had a little bit left over. And I'm just using a little bit of silver glitter there and crushed glass for the center, because you have to have some sparkle. I did wait till the main cup got to 38.5 degrees Celsius, and my white, I had 2 ounces in a piping bag, and that got up to probably over 40 degrees Celsius. It was pretty hot by the time I used that. So here I'm starting off and I'm using Resin Inks by Octopus Fluids. This is Sun, and then I'm going to use Sweet Cherry and Aronia, which is a purple. There I'm putting the Sweet Cherry down. And usually I put my dots a lot closer together, but I wanted to give this some breathing room. And what I've kind of found too, you should have even amounts of drops, even though I don't always do that. But if you have 6 on the top, you should have 6 on the bottom. It just helps with the design. And even though it looks like there's no room, there was a little room to do the Aronia, which is the purple resin inks. And as you'll see in most of my blooms, these are alcohol inks, but they're 5 times stronger than alcohol inks, which you see why they don't dissipate. Every time I see people using alcohol inks, the colors disappear, and these resin inks by Octopus Fluids do not disappear. There I'm just taking a silicone pen and just swirling the colors together a little. And I'm leaving the yellow in the center alone because I tend to lose the yellow in these things. But just kind of blending the colors together. And one thing I'll say while I'm doing this, the reason I love this mold, this whole pour took about 42 ounces of resin, but you get a substantial statement piece made out of resin. The little trays that I've made in those cheap thin molds from China, they warp anything thin. You see these people doing cake stands? I guarantee you those things are warping. The resin pieces have to sit flat and have some kind of weight on them, which this thing is hefty. I believe the finished piece weighs 2 pounds, 5 ounces. So for my 2 ounces for white, I used 18 drops of Castin Craft white pigment paste, and this is staying pretty white. Sometimes it dissipates, but I think I had to do the center pour. I'd mixed up the 4 ounces for the white and then the 11 for the base separately. And this white had been sitting around a bit longer, so it was hot when I was pouring this. But again, I just used all of it, just kind of swirling it into the areas, which you're not going to see the edge areas because the crystals are there, but just put it in anyway. And then I'm just going to draw, even though it's not a flower shape per se, I draw lines from the outside in, kind of on an angle there. Just going around randomly. There's no set way to do this. As you can see, I'm kind of going through, or it's easier to see when you're actually filming it, you're going through the areas of color and you can see it kind of dragging through there. And I didn't speed this up that much. I think the next part I sped up. But as you see, the color's not dissipating. It's pretty much holding. It's in a holding pattern. But I do love these resinings. I can't say enough about them. I use them for all my blooms, and I have never had a bloom not work out, knock on wood. Octopus Fluid's alcohol inks also work, but they are a bit paler than these resinings. And usually I don't do this in my tray molds, but because I saw all those colors there, as you see, I'm dragging from the inside out, and it is bringing that yellow out through the pink and the purple. So I figured it would look cute or look pretty. And as you're doing it, you'll see where to pull it through or where you think you should pull it through. And it was weird because the petals were really forming on the bottom of this. I was like, oh, is that a mistake? But because the resin was so thick with the white, I think it was already forming petals. After that dried, the next day, I always like using interference powder. This is Pearl X Violet interference powder. It's very subtle, but because I was putting black on it and there was white there, the interference powder lifts it from the black background. It gives it a little bit of sheen where the light catches it any place the white is. Where there's solid color, you're not going to see it that much, but I've just found it looks beautiful underneath these blooms. Then for my back, I'm back to the JDiction High Gloss Resin. I mixed up 12.27 ounces with 40 drops of Onyx and 6 drops of that black pigment paste. And I did add some more of the Hyper Holo glitter. It did come out a bluish black color, but it was darker than the crystal colors. And that 12.27 did not fill up the pack. So I went back again and did another 9.57 ounces with 32 drops of Onyx and 4 drops of pigment paste and another 1.5 scoops, tiny scoops of the glitter. And now it's time to demold. I should have left the ASMR for the sound of those crystals releasing. It's a glorious sound. And this mold is heavy. Oh my goodness, look at that. I can't believe I waited this long to do something in this mold. It's fabulous. And if you look in the corners, you can see that little sheen of the Pearl X Interference Violet. It's so gorgeous. And there's just enough glitter in there to make it interesting. And here's the finished piece. About 42 ounces of resin to do this, and the finished piece weighs 2 pounds, 5 ounces, and measures 11.5 by 7.25 by 1.5 inches high. So this definitely is a statement piece, and not for those that are afraid of working with resin. If you like what I've created, let us know what you think in the comments below.